This is episode 7 of the Bleacher Nation Bears Podcast. Thanks to our sponsoring partner, Obvious Shirts. Obvious Shirts. Words on shirts. I ordered this I Heart Ben Johnson shirt that I'm wearing online last week, picked it up 48 hours later, and now I'm wearing it today for obvious reasons. You can go get your own Obvious shirt at obviousshirts.com, or you can go in person at the corner of Clark and Grace in Wrigleyville. Go support our friends at Obvious Shirts because they support us. Thanks again to our sponsors at Obvious Shirts. Tell them the Bleacher Nation Bears Podcast sent you.
This is episode 7 of the Bleacher Nation Bears Podcast, and I am also wearing an Obvious shirt to get up here, which couldn't be more true. Mondays are better when the Bears win, and it is another victory Monday, gentlemen. Quick bounce back for us. Quick bounce back for us with our we are now, 4-1? Since the podcast.
4-1. Yeah, 4-1 since the podcast.
4-1.
How about that?
We did not take fault for the loss last week, but we're definitely taking credit for them winning this week. And one of the more wild games that we've seen in a very long time from the Bears, if ever.
We've seen some wilder ones. They just never win them. It's just always wild, and then our heart gets ripped out at the end. This was wilder than the Commanders game, but the ending of the Commanders game last year was every bit as wild. That was just us on the losing end of it. This time we won. And the second the Bengals you converted on that 2-point conversion, my heart sank because I know how this is going to go. They're not going to recover an onside kick. Bengals are going to do it. They're going to go down and score, and they did. They won. They figured out a way to win. That never happens.
Left too much time on the clock for Caleb Williams, man. You can't. He's not at the Aaron Rodgers level yet, but he's at I mentioned this in Bullets today, he's at a Jake Plummer level where it's, if you give that guy with his mobility, his arm talent, his ability to make something out of nothing, you give that guy enough time, you're cooked. You're cooked. And Caleb did enough, and the offensive line did enough to hold on that Colston Loveland pass, and Colston did everything you needed to do to make that happen. That's the kind of play, like you mentioned, that happens to the Bears so
not
often.
For the Bears.
It never happens for the Bears. So to see it happen for the Bears blew my mind. I didn't even have words yesterday. I was just making noises.
There was a lot of audible noises coming from me yesterday as I stood in front of the TV screaming like a madman. Caleb Williams, 20 of 34 yesterday, 280 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 114.8 passer rating, also 53 yards on the ground on 5 carries, and 2 receptions for 22 yards and a touchdown. How about that box score day for Caleb Williams?
I don't know, man. I think he could have tucked it and ran a little bit more. Just taken it down, got up the middle, ran, took a couple yards. I think he had it wide open there. See that wide open line? There was one of those where Archuleta, he diagrammed this room, this big area off to the left, which maybe 10 yards was free with a lot of sideline, but there was a completely unblocked cornerback just sitting in the flat. He's Caleb should have ran. He's if Caleb runs, that's one-on-one with a cornerback who's coming up to play him and probably popping him after 3 yards. What are you talking about? Sorry, that guy just...
Very frustrating. No, let's talk about that for a second because it's really frustrating.
He made Troy Aikman seem like the head of the Caleb Williams fan club.
President of the fan club.
Spiro Deeds deserves a better partner. I thought Spiro Deeds called a whale of a game yesterday. That game was chaos. That game was drunk. And here's Adam Archuleta bringing nonsense, bringing nothing to the broadcast, actively making me dumber for watching the game. And I can't put it on mute. I know I was talking in the group chat hey, man, just mute it. I'm I can't mute it. This is the gig. These are the trade-offs. I always tell people, these are the trade-offs. Guys like us have to watch preseason games. Guys like us have to listen to the broadcast. It's a fair trade-off.
I was talking to a friend recently, and he told me that he'll have the radio call.
I was going to say, I need to figure out how to sync that up. Even if it makes me delayed, I need to get Joniak and Thayer on the TV.
And Joniak's call of that touchdown was awesome. Lou, I know you did a post about it. It's up on the site, so people can go and check out the call. As wild as Caleb Williams' box score was with the number of things that he did, also, by the way, big ups to Ben Johnson because I believe the Bears finished with 3 different players with passer ratings north of 100 in that game. And if Cole Kmet hits that shot, if that ball's caught, then he also would have finished with a passer rating over 100. But most important stat out of that, like you alluded to at the top there, Lou, is Caleb Williams in clutch time continues to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And he's got 4 fourth quarter comebacks now and 3 game-winning drives in his first 25 NFL games.
Pretty good.
Especially when you factor in the fact that there weren't a whole lot of opportunities for him to do so last season with as bad as that team was.
Yeah, hard to make comebacks when you're getting blown out of the water and being uncompetitive.
Yeah. And, Caleb said it at the end of the game on the broadcast with the interview with him and Colston Loveland. They're built for that. They feel like they are built for that. And, they've won a handful of close games this year and all of them kind of in a different way. This one was the shootout, and Caleb said it was important to them to win a shootout, a barn burner game like that, and prove to themselves that they could go blow for blow in a game like that. And they did. I mean, look, Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards. That's a conversation for a little bit later here in the show about the defense. But when the opposing quarterback throws for 470 yards and 4 touchdowns and scores 42 points and you still win, I mean, that is a area where the Bears haven't been able to win historically in the past, and they did. So again, a lot of these wins this year out of the 5 that they haven't been pretty per se, but they have been gritty in a variety of ways that is leaning toward Ben Johnson's cultural change within that locker room.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too is they put up 47 points, won that barn burner, went blow for blow. I think they punted to one time, which was Torrey Taylor's 71-yard punt. It was a monster. He got an A in instant grades for that. I think it might be his first day as the Bears punter. I feel like Caleb Williams still could have been better. It was not his. He played very well. I'm thrilled. Obviously, put up 47 points, all such. There was some things he could have done better, though. That was not the best game we've seen him play. I feel like there's still another level we could have seen him get to yesterday, which to me is, that's pretty encouraging.
Scary.
We're looking for steady progress here, and obviously this was a better performance than Baltimore. Obviously, a significantly worse defense than Baltimore. This is probably a stat line we should have expected to see if we wanted progress from Caleb. But for all the good things he did, there's still some things for him to go and build on and work on, which I like to see that. The fact that this is he's putting up 47 points against a bad defense without giving us his best game is pretty encouraging. There's some things still that he needs to clean up, and I think he will. I think part of that was, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen played really well yesterday, and I think 1 did not in pass protection. It's tough because in the run blocking, he's good. He gets downhill. He can move people around. He was getting caved in on the left side, giving up way too much ground. And I think that's Caleb's issues again. I think were the happy feet because he felt the pocket collapsing and his internal clock was kind of starting to speed up, throwing off his timing. And a lot of that was because on his blind side, his left tackle was getting blown up and was in his lap significantly quicker than he should be. Theo Bennett, admirable effort. You can still develop him for probably the rest of the year there, but if he doesn't show some signs of progress, you're looking for a new guy out there next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, his run blocking is really allowing them to develop his pass protection on the
for
fly.
Sure.
And he, you know what? Kudos to him for learning on the fly. And man, I don't know if he's the long-term starting left tackle. I don't think he is. I don't want to give up on him yet, though. Give him
I'm not giving up on him, but I'm just trying to be realistic in as far as projectability is concerned.
Realistically, he's probably a swing tackle, but even if he turns out to be a swing tackle who starts 4 or 5 games a year and that's
he'll get paid a long time
for this team. Yeah, he'll probably get a starting job somewhere. Essentially, that won't be here, but eventually.
What if he is Ben Johnson's Chicago version of Dan Skipper, where you can use him as a swing tackle, you can use him as a fullback. Maybe he catches a pass. Maybe you put him in a formation. I think
no goal line handoffs, please.
No goal line handoffs.
We're gonna PTSD.
But use the pieces at your disposal in a variety of ways. Don't just pigeonhole guys into one role. I think that's one thing previous regimes, not just the last one, but like a lot of Bears regimes in our lifetime have just like, this guy is this and he's only this, and it limits what a guy can do, and it limits your team overall.
I mean, that's a perfect segue into a guy that had a tremendous game the other day, in that he was a guy that there was a lot of, whether fair or not, question marks surrounding him leading up to this week because of a lack of true involvement in the offense and him not being on the field for every game this season. That's Colston Loveland. I mean, Colston Loveland was phenomenal yesterday. Lou, I know that you want the floor here for Colston Loveland, for the Colston Loveland discussion. So I'm going to turn that over to you right now.
I'm going to do the Charles Barkley thing and look directly at the camera.
Do we need to have a discussion about Colston Loveland?
We're going to have
time to have a discussion
right now.
Right now.
Go for it, Lou.
This is my mea culpa. I was not familiar with your game. I was impressed. I had been encouraged that you had been playing, that you'd been seeing an uptick in snap count, because as Patrick and Matt mentioned last week, Ben Johnson's not playing you if you don't know your stuff, if you're not doing the right things in practice, if you're not doing the right things in the game. What I saw from Colston Loveland was the ability to get open, the ability to present himself to Caleb Williams as a receiving option, and the run after the catch stuff is stuff that I was not sure was 100% in his game. His elusiveness as a tight end on that play was impressive. And yes, the Bengals missed tackles, but that's not an easy guy to tackle. I am looking forward to seeing how Ben Johnson continues to use him moving forward, because the conversation surrounding the Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland thing, that's just beginning, because both of those guys, and I've said this from the beginning, I said it on draft night, I think both of these guys are going to have good NFL careers. Yep. I think today or Sunday's game showed us like, oh yeah, this is why the Bears made that pick.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Colston Loveland had. Now, again, we have to, I always want to preface this saying that the Bengals defense I know is terrible. It's really, really bad. But like, the Bears had one of their best red zone days when they started to include their tight end in the red zone game plan, and Loveland had the reception on probably maybe one of Caleb's most underrated throws of the day, that touchdown over the middle to Loveland. I think it was on 3rd and goal. Like, that was an absolute dart.
After an Odunze drop in the end zone.
Yes, which I still don't know if that ball was deflected or not. The announce team seemed to think it was, but it ended up being behind him. Either way, Rome got 2 hands on it. You have to catch the football. But that was a big clutch catch on 3rd down when, again, all day you needed 6s instead of 3s with how both defenses were playing. And things just open up in general for any offense when the tight end is getting involved in the middle of the field. Like, Patrick, you watch the tape every Sunday for the Bears. Like, and you look at any of these elite offenses in the NFL, pretty much all of them have a really, really good tight end that's capable of stretching out the defense in the middle of the field. Loveland's a matchup problem. He's too fast for linebackers. He's too big for defensive backs. Once they start continuously taking advantage of that, I think it's going to continue to open things up on the outsides for guys like Rome, guys like DJ Moore, who had his best day. Zacchaeus saw a lot of one-on-one coverage, had a really, really nice day. Like, it opened everything up once you get that tight end involved in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and I think that part of that is, like Lou mentioned, and we mentioned previously, is Ben Johnson getting more comfortable with him in his offense and what he can trust him with, right? And yesterday, the offense had, 76 plays, I believe. When you get 76 plays as an offense, that, we with the trick plays, we were all like, oh, Ben's deep in his bag. He's deep in his bag. Yeah, well, when you run 76 plays, you can get creative, right? You can get a lot of different guys involved and get creative when you run that volume of plays. And I think that the Bears, being an offense in recent weeks that were moving the ball well in between the 20s, but struggling a little bit in the red zone, they needed a game like this. And sure, you could say that Cincinnati's defense is awful, and it is, like, almost historically bad, especially against the run. But you play who's on the schedule. And, this has just happened to be the team that was on the schedule in a week where the Bears absolutely needed, like you said, Matt, to turn 3s into 6s and get some confidence in that department and try some different things out personnel-wise. And they checked every single box. And the trick plays are fun, but one thing to note about the trick plays with Ben Johnson is he doesn't call trick plays for the sake of calling trick plays. And he doesn't call them to, show off or embarrass the opponent. He calls trick plays because it's things that he has seen on the film, and he knows that there's a way that he can expose somebody or someone's on the opposing defense, just like with the stumble bum against the Bears. That was something that he was planning for a long time because it's something he saw on the tape. Same thing with the trick plays that we saw against Cincinnati. He does these things for a reason. I mean, the hot potato play, the DJ Moore touchdown pass to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams said after the game that's something that they'd been working on for weeks, and it was not until then that he decided to pull it out, and it was executed to perfection. I mean, Caleb Williams had like 6.7 yards of separation. It was like an 85% catch probability.
Oh, he's wide open.
Like it was
nobody there.
Like, which leans into the when Ben pulls something like that out of the bag, it's generally going to have a high success rate because it's something that he's been planning to do for a long time, and he's using it in a very particular spot.
Yeah, he builds those trick plays off of his regular plays. I think that's the thing that people. It's hard to capture that when you're seeing the Lions twice a year or a couple times a year because they're on prime time. But yeah, he builds those plays off the other plays. It's nice, man. It's like, oh, this is what modern football looks like. Cool.
Speaking of guys getting increased roles potentially in the future, we got to talk about Kyle Monangai, who ran for 176 yards on 26 carries. That's almost 7 yards a rip. Phenomenal day. That was his 176 yards was the most rushing yards in a game by a Bears rookie running back since Anthony Thomas rushed for 188 in 2001 against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. It's also worth noting that Ben Johnson's mentor, John Shoup, was the offensive coordinator for the Bears in that game.
Something about Monangai should just be the face of angry runs on NFL. That was a Good Morning Football runs. I feel like every single one of his runs yesterday was like once he hit the hole and got through, he was looking for contact instead of looking for more green grass.
Like run through people.
Once he got up there and got through the hole and picked up 4 or 5 yards, he's like, all right, who can I lower my shoulder into? Like before halftime, both C's on the logo or on his helmets were
flying off,
peeling off and crumpled up because he's lowering his head. He just the way he runs the football, I'm
super aesthetically pleasing.
I'm not sure it's a really sustainable way for a long running back career.
Well, I mean, not at 26 carries a game, but
yeah,
in a Ben Johnson, best laid plan where he's not, he's getting 15 touches a game.
He was awesome to watch yesterday. He was running angry the entire football game. And like you said, I know the Bengals have a terrible rush defense, but man, he was impressive to watch. It seems like they might have found something with him.
It was super impressive. Also worth noting that Kyle Monangai was selected with the 7th round pick that the Bengals sent to the Bears for Khalil Herbert last year. So we essentially have a Kyle Monangai for Khalil Herbert trade, and
worked out for us.
Worked out. And I remember, and I know Patrick remembers, and I'm sure Matt remembers. There were a lot of people who were upset about trading away Khalil Herbert because, right after that, the Bears had some running back injuries. But guys, that year, I remember trying to tell people, this year doesn't really matter. Let these trades happen. You're not going to bring him back. Also, Khalil Herbert's been on 4 different teams since leaving the Bears. Bengals.
He was never that good.
Seahawks, either. The Jets. 4 teams. 4 teams since leaving the Bears. They did well. They did well in that trade.
Right. He would not. I don't think Khalil Herbert would have factored into the offense this year, anyhow. Even if he was still there, I don't see a path there for him. They were at that point last year where it's just he was expendable. He wasn't a guy for them, and I think it would have been exactly the same this year. So net positive for them. I'll take it. Speaking of trades, trade deadline is rapidly approaching. There were reports on Sunday by Jay Glazer, Lou, that you covered on the site about the Bears potentially being aggressive ahead of the trade deadline. What aggressive means is the big question here. But you mentioned this, you noted this morning when covering the Jaelan Phillips trade from the Dolphins to the Eagles, that was potentially a pass rush target that the Bears could have had eyes for. Where do we stand on the trade deadline right now? What do we want to see the Bears do, and what do we think is realistic in the next 24 hours?
I think the things that we should be looking for are smaller trades like the Khalil Herbert trade, based on the things that I've read from the National Insiders, and I've kind of pulled on some people like, hey, like, what are you hearing? It sounds like the Bears are going to try and work around the edges during the trade deadline. I don't see them using a first or second round pick as a trade chip to improve this team. But a day 3 pick, I think that's the move. And maybe it's a pass rusher. It sounds like that's what Jay Glazer's hearing. That's what Brad Biggs from the Tribune has heard. Austin Booker coming back, that was nice. But
that was an impressive game.
With Dio getting hurt, the Bears might need some more help on that front. Maybe, I don't know if there's
much there
for running back, but hey, if Miami wants to give away Devon Achane, I mean, I'll take him for a 7th round pick. But yeah, I think it's going to be a day 3 pick to get a marginal upgrade, and I'm not opposed to it with the way how Ryan Poles has done. Here's a good thing he's done is that he's gotten day 3 picks out of nothing. So I don't mind if that's the route they go. I would not be on board with trading a day 1, day 2 pick for
like a Trey Hendrickson type of trade. Cincinnati still wants a 1, and you have to extend him.
If it's just 1-1, I'd think about it.
It won't be just 1-1.
That's what I'm saying.
It will be a 1 and then like a 2, probably. I would imagine.
You don't do that because the only person you trade that type of capital for is Max Crosby, who has said he doesn't want to be traded and is not going to be traded. You don't do it for Trey Hendrickson's a very good pass rusher, and I know he has a history with Dennis Allen, all that stuff. He's over 30 years old. Like, those guys tend to not fall quite off a cliff, but production tends to drop off. He's played his best football. You don't invest that much draft capital plus salary cap, commitment to guys that are over 30 whose best football is behind them. It's not a fit. It's not going to work out. Don't do it. Don't fall into this trap that you're 5-3 and that you're not winning a Super Bowl this year. I love this football team. They're really they're really fun to watch. I'm not sure how good they are just yet. And can they make a run at the playoffs? Absolutely. Can they win a playoff game? Maybe. They're not a Super Bowl team. So let's not think about moving day 1, day 2 draft picks for 30-plus-year-old guys who might give you 1.5 good years of football.
I had a friend text me yesterday and say that this team gives him 2015 Cubs vibes.
We're not there. 2014 Cubs vibes.
You know better than I.
Yeah.
I'm a Sox.
2015, like that team, I can see where you want to make that comparison. They're not there yet. And they still have to prove it. People forget that the 2015 Cubs were kind of middling until after the All-Star break. They really turned it on. If the Bears go on a heater, then maybe we have that discussion. But I will say, because I've thought about Cubs comps, because I've had friends like, what does this remind you of? Second half 2014, where you started seeing some of the young guys step up, which is like what we're seeing with Colston Loveland and Kyle Monangai yesterday. You saw some trades, go the other way that got some assets that they used down the line. Good try by your friend. I like the thought. It just
I mean, I don't I said, I don't know.
It's weird because
the wrong guy.
It's weird because I think football, you are capable of making that leap a little bit quicker than most other sports.
I agree with that.
All you got to do is get to the playoffs, and then it's one game at a time. You only got to win one. You don't have to win, 3, 5, 7, whatever. I do think, though, we are probably hopefully, I really hope if we continue on this track, this team is still probably 2 years away from being a, top contender in the NFC or seen as one of those top teams in the NFC. It reminds me of, I'm not a Cubs fan, so I'm not going to go there, but the Blackhawks, I think it was 07, 08, when they were really bad to start. They had a really good second half. They made a push for the wild card late. They ended up coming up a couple points short. The next year they go to the Western Conference Finals, get swept by Detroit, and they was losing 5 to Detroit. The following year they go and win the Cup in 2010. So I'm not saying the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl 2 years from now, but I feel like that's a little bit more of a track we're on. It's they're going to be fun this year. They might sneak into the playoffs. Maybe they win a game, but they're not going to be better than a lot of the teams they would go up against in the playoffs. And it's football, so anything can happen one game, but I still think they're probably 2 years away from us being all right, this is a legitimate top of the NFC type team.
Yeah. I mean, 07-08 Hawks is a good comp. I was just actually looking into them the other, reliving the memory the other day because it's something I wrote over on the Blackhawks side. I mean, I love that. That was the beginning for that.
It was a fun team. That was a really fun team.
Really, really fun. I'm good with that. I said it. I mean, just in the Blackhawks comparison with the current group of Blackhawks, I said it's not a playoff team, but if I can have fun like I did in 07-08 with the young core, then I'll be happy. Same thing applies to the Bears. If we could just have fun this season, the season will be a success for me in the big picture from an evaluation standpoint.
And it's been fun.
I think
so far, it's taken years off my life, put more gray in my beard, but it's been fun. It has been fun. Speaking of long-term evaluations, maybe short-term now, where are we done with Cairo Santos? Are we unanimous in the fact that Cairo Santos will not be kicking field goals for the Bears next week?
I'm surprised he's still that hasn't been made official.
Yeah, no, that's when he missed the second one. I'm just like, oh, that's mental. That's a mental kick. That's a mental.
Well, they again, the announce crew tried to make it seem like it got deflected.
Even if it got deflected, it's because he has such a noodle leg.
He kicked it too low.
Trajectory is so low.
A 47-yard field goal should be like a lollipop type in the air because you just got to get it up and over the line, and that'll get through from both players.
No, that was again another bad production bit from CBS where it's just like, oh, like we think it might have been deflected, and like they don't show any replays.
Yeah, they did. They showed one replay from the side, and then just never showed one again. That was very strange.
Yeah, it just poor production, but
I'm sorry, and it's not
a day where you see Cam Little bang a 68-yarder out.
Cam Little bang. Now it's indoors and it's Vegas, but he hit one in.
He hit a 70-yarder in Canton during the preseason.
Preseason, so
It wasn't just Cairo Santos was the problem yesterday. Special teams. If special teams was, with the exception of Torrey Taylor's awesome punt, if the special teams was just average yesterday, we're not with that. That game doesn't need to go down to the final minute. Doesn't need the heroes.
Bears score 50.
They win that game. The Bears score 50. They win that game by 2 touchdowns.
Lou, you said
not only the kick return, but then the Bengals, I think, were running the ball back out to the 40, 45, just about every
setting up great field position.
Just 0 for 2 on their field goals. The kick return team wasn't very good, and Jade Walker had the bad holding call that brought one back from, the Bengals territory back to their own 18. Special teams was awful yesterday, and it's been a problem now for multiple weeks in a row. Something needs to change there. I don't know if that's Ben Johnson needs a new coordinator. I don't know if Ben Johnson needs to get more involved. I don't know if Ben Johnson and Richard Hightower have to have a conversation and figure some things out. Special teams it nearly lost if the Bears lost yesterday, it would have been because of special teams.
Yeah, 100%. And Lou, you brought this up in the group chat. You went when the game was kind of spiraling there for that minute and a half. You were like, "This is the type of game that gets people fired." And I was like, "Yeah, like Richard Hightower, like." Yeah. I'm not calling for anybody's job, but Richard Hightower is a holdover from the previous coaching regime. And if his unit's going to be so subpar that it's going to cost you games, it's real easy to pull the trigger on a guy that wasn't your hire in the first place.
Yep. And I understand why they kept him. They wanted some continuity.
Sure,
and that special teams unit graded out well last year, according to the people who track those things. So, I get it. You want to give the guy a trial run if he graded out well. And I'm sure he interviews well. But man, no. After yesterday, I hope.
That's ugly. And it wasn't just yesterday. It's looked ugly all year, but that was front and center.
Because it was everything. It was the kicking. It was the blocking on the kicking. It was kick returns. It was punt returns. It's not just one game. It's been like this all year.
The Ravens game they didn't break one, but they were bringing the ball back past the 35 out to the 40, 45 just about every time too. It's a problem.
They need new eyes on old problems, and I don't know how you could find a special teams coordinator in the middle of a season. I'm not opposed to it, but after the season, that's probably a top priority because you probably need a new philosophy, especially with all the new rules. You probably need someone with a different perspective on how to go about special teams.
Yeah, agreed.
Are there any Dave Tobe assistants out there? Does he have any kids who coach?
I'll take a Dave Tobe disciple, especially in a pinch. I would run that. We'll know more this week about special teams, Cairo Santos probably here in the next 24 hours, I would assume, 48 hours. It's a weird week. It's going to be a weird week timing wise with the trade deadline too. So things that we might expect to see on Monday or Tuesday maybe might be a Wednesday or Thursday thing. We'll know regardless. Speaking of next week, the Bears have another very winnable game on the schedule. The 2-7 Giants are at Soldier Field. If the Bears win, I mean, we said weeks ago, the stretch that was coming up was going to allow them to be 7-2 or 6-3 if things go right. They're at 5-3. They've dropped one of those games. If they take care of business at home against the Giants on Sunday, then they're 6-3 through that stretch, and they kind of nailed the high end of that projection there. So, Ben Johnson said it yesterday in his locker room speech. One of the things he said to the guys is going 3-1 in that second quarter, right? And we'll talk about the next quarter going on. It's the segments of the season. And this one was a huge segment of the schedule to kind of take care of business against the Giants. One thing I got on paper here with the Giants is they're 32nd in the league defensively and in rush efficiency. So whether Swift's back or Monangai's taking the bulk of the carries again, or they're splitting the carries, there's a good opportunity once again for the Bears run game to get a lot of work in against New York.
We saw that with the Niners yesterday. I know they have Christian McCaffrey, but it seemed like he just kind of ran right through them all game long.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift's going to see those numbers and want to come
I'm
back.
interested to see, because it's weird with a front seven that seems to have as much talent as they do, that they're that bad against the run, because Brian Burns is very good. Kayvon Thibodeau is very good. Dexter Lawrence, one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. It's wild that with such a kind of stacked personnel that they're not very good against the run, but also that falls on linebackers. And we'll see if the Bears are able to run. They were able to against Cincy, and Cincy has a similarly bad rated rush defense.
Yeah,
so hopefully we get DeAndre Swift back healthy, and they kind of nice little duo there to go run against them.
It is strange with the personnel that they have there, almost like they got more than they need, because they were talking about Kayvon Thibodeau maybe being a guy that gets moved. They've got a lot of pass rush up there, but looking at
I'll take him.
I'll take him. They're 21st in pressure rate defensively this year. They're 20th in passing efficiency defensively, and 32nd against the run, according to Next Gen Stats. So all in all, personnel is, be damned, the Giants defense has been pretty bad this year.
Whatever they do offensive, and I know we'll write more about this all week, but they need to figure out a way to give Theo Benedict some help on the left side, whether that's lining up a tight end to chip a little bit more, whether it's just lining up Monangai or Swift and pass protection on that side all the time. Because quite honestly, you don't have to worry about Darnell Wright. He's good. He's fine. Right. Just let him go one-on-one.
Looks better and better every week.
I'll get to that with game balls. Theo Benedict, he needs the help on the left side. And I know we talked about him earlier. I don't think he's a bad tackle. I think he's fine. He's probably not a starter, but he struggled yesterday in pass protection. They need to get creative with ways to kind of help him out, going up against Brian Burns, who's really good, Thibodeau, who's really good. They need to give him some help.
Agreed. I mean, hey, look, I'll be interested to see what the injury report says for Cole Kmet. I mean, obviously he was ruled out. He was evaluated for a concussion, then ruled out. We'll see, how he responds early this week on that. But if he's there, I think that Cole Kmet probably settles more into that role where he can help out more on the left side in the pass blocking scheme. And then Colston Loveland.
If he's not, let Durham Smythe fill in and block on that side. Either one.
100%.
More of a traditional. Cole Kmet becomes more of a traditional Y if Colston Loveland is who he was last week, and I'm 100% okay with that. I pulled up some fun numbers. This is how big of a game this is for the Bears. Right now, their playoff odds per The Athletic are 24%. The Athletic has a playoff simulator. You can go by team and by game and see where the numbers fluctuate. A Bears win this week would put them at 30%. If they lose, it drops to 13%. So that's a pretty big swing. The Bears already have some long odds. I'm not saying it's a must-win game. I was going to say no, you got to win this game. If you want to be taken seriously, I'm not even talking about playoffs. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to win this game.
You have to beat the New York Giants in your backyard.
Yes.
You have to do that. If you even want to be mentioned in the same breath as the word playoff, you can't lose that game.
I didn't realize how I didn't realize how bad things had gotten for the Giants. There was a nice little narrative building around them with Cam Scatabo and
some
Jackson Dart, and it's just like, oh no, the rest of
the situation over there.
Just gonna get fired.
It seems like the Broncos' fourth quarter collapse is very kind of similar to where I know the Bears were in a better position last year, but similar to the fail Mary, like just kind of seems like that was they win that game. Like there's a path. I think they're around 500. Then they can kind of hang around in the hunt and maybe steal a few more games. And you got Dart and you got Scatabo and you got things going. They lose that game. They go to Philly. Philly kind of punches them in the mouth. Scatabo's ankle, I believe it was that game, just kind of exploded. He's done for the year. And it just seems like they went from kind of riding a high to, all right, this is kind of done, isn't it?
It was a fun 2 weeks for Giants fans. It was fun. I mean, even as a non-Giant fan, just as from a spectator standpoint, it was fun seeing the two young guys go in there and breathe a little bit of life into that crew. But at the end of the day, I saw the other day, Brian Daboll, 2-7 starts in each of the last 3 seasons, which is 3 out of the 4 seasons he's been there. It's not looking great for Daboll's long-term future in New York.
I feel like the only chance he has is him and Jackson Dart building, a relationship and all that, and the ownership thinking that that's worth hanging on to. But that's kind of his only hope, it feels like, at this point. Because it does seem like Dart's been pretty solid this year, and he's absolutely earned himself another year from what we've seen. Seems like he's worth at least exploring building around.
Yeah, his development is worth exploring.
For sure.
And not just because he's a Star Wars guy.
You can't root for him this week, even.
No. This is Obi-Wan versus Anakin. He should know, as an Anakin Skywalker mark, this is Obi-Wan versus Anakin, and the Bears are going to be Obi-Wan.
That's good. Speaking of crossovers with movies and football players, I loved Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld's Halloween costumes, the Bobby Boucher and Vicky Valancourt that they did. I don't know if you saw the picture, but they nailed it. It was hilarious. Also, super disappointing dad moment. Showed it to both my kids, 12 and 16, and neither of them understood the reference. And I was like, I failed you as a father.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
That's tough.
I felt like I needed to turn my playbook in on that one.
You gotta go back to the drawing board. Jahmyr Gibbs had a good costume with his lady friend.
That was good. Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. Oh, it was Jeff Hardy. That was pretty good.
Yeah, he had the moves down well. I'm not even going to try to imitate it, but he nailed it. That was good too.
Kudos to him.
Very good. Let's hand out some game balls from the victory. We didn't get to do it last week, so we're back. We're back with the game balls. Matt, you had one pretty locked up, so why don't you start us off?
Darnell Wright. Dude, I don't ever want to hear anybody say the name Jalen Carter again. Nothing against Jalen Carter. He's very good. The Bears have an all-pro right tackle. He's awesome. He was yesterday. He was unbelievable. I think his Pro Football. Yeah, I got it up. His Pro Football Focus run blocking grade was 95.5. I know Pro Football Focus is not the end-all be-all, but it's kind of the best metric we have for measuring offensive line play. If you want to go to Pro Football Focus too, he has the 6th best tackle grade of both right and he's the 6th best tackle in football, essentially, according to Pro Football Focus. And behind Penei Sewell, he is the best run blocking tackle in football. This dude's awesome. He's taken another step in Ben Johnson's offense. I don't know if it has to do with Ben Johnson, whoever the offensive line coach is this year, whether it's him taking another step. I'm not really sure what it is. He has taken that step, and he is so good. He was outstanding. I sent a clip to you guys in our Slack channel. I'm going to retweet it, probably write a blog about it. 4th and 1, I think they were down 10-7 towards the end of the first quarter, and he took Shamar Stewart for a ride of about 10 yards, got underneath his pads, drove him about 10 yards, buried him, laid on him. It was awesome, especially coming for someone who wrote a post last year saying, I don't want the Bears to go anywhere near Shamar Stewart. That was nice for me to see.
Take that victory lap.
Darnell Wright. I'm going to take that victory lap because him, I feel bad that Michael Williams tore his ACL yesterday, but he was having a pretty bad season up until that point too. Those are the two guys I said I wanted the Bears to stay away from. Happy they did. But back to the original point, Darnell Wright was awesome yesterday. And the entire offensive line run block, fantastic, but he was so good, and he is so good. He is an all-pro right tackle.
Love that. Good stuff. Lou, Who do you got?
I've got a controversial game ball to hand out, and I'm giving it to Dennis Allen. Now, you usually don't give a game ball to a defensive coordinator who gives up 470 yards to the Joe Flacco, but his call to blitz the Hail Mary was perfect because it did what you're supposed to do as a defense. You move an immobile quarterback off his spot. When he's spent all week with a bum shoulder, needing to throw the ball down the field. You wanted to avoid the Hail Mary. That's exactly how you do it. That's the perfect call at the perfect time for a defense that had nothing cooking. Dennis Allen, game ball. Good coaching. Good coaching helped win the Bears that game.
Here's what I give Dennis Allen a lot of credit.
Good play call. I will give him credit for that play call.
That is a good play call. And the other thing I will give him credit for in a game where nothing went right for him and his unit other than that play call is he's still missing an all-pro corner on the outside. He's still missing arguably the best nickel corner, especially against the run in the NFC. So, yeah, I mean, Nashawn Wright and Nick McLeod getting first team reps was never in the plan for anybody. So always that's going to be a consideration for me, no matter how ugly it was. But it
was kind of ugly yesterday.
It was ugly. It was ugly. I honestly didn't think that I was going to get to this point and have my choice of Monangai and or Loveland. I thought that one of them would have got scooped up.
Give them both. They both deserve it. Give out 2 game balls to both. They deserve it.
It's 2 game balls. They're each getting a game ball. They both got one in the locker room yesterday from Ben Johnson. So
if Ben Johnson did it, you can do it.
I'm doing it too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
They're both getting a game ball. They both balled out yesterday. It was super fun to watch and super encouraging moving forward, knowing that 2 of those rookies, they can play some ball.
Does that mean I have to give props to Ryan Pace for drafting them?
Ryan Poles?
Ryan Poles.
We're definitely not giving Ryan Pace any props.
I give him
I don't know.
The jury's still out on giving Ryan Poles props.
Colston Loveland was Ben Johnson.
Colston Loveland was a Ben Johnson pick.
The Monangai pick, I don't know. But
the good picks are Ben Johnson picks. The bad picks are Ryan Poles. No, the bad picks are Ryan Pace picks that Ryan Poles made for some reason.
Great. All right. That's it for us. Lou, take us home. Tell everyone what to look for this week and where they can find it.
I've got a Caleb Williams progress report. Patrick has Caleb Williams game tape. I'm looking forward to Matt's offensive line, Darnell Wright stuff, because Darnell Wright's going to get paid big money soon. That's a conversation for another day. Lots of good stuff at BN Bears this week. BleacherNation.com/Bears. At Twitter, BN_Bears. On Facebook, /Bleacher Nation Bears. Blue Sky, BN-Bears. And, check out our friends at BN Bulls. They're hot. Blackhawks, good. Patrick's doing Blackhawks stuff now, too. Man, lots of good stuff happening at BN right now. Thank you for your support. Go support our obvious shirts, obviously. Go get yourself a I Love Ben Johnson shirt. And see you here next week. Hopefully we got some more game balls to hand out.
Bear down.
Bear down.